Welcome to those to you. Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to those of you joining us here in person at the club, and welcome those of you joining us on Zoom. If you're joining via Zoom, please make sure to mute your microphone. Once the speaker starts, we'll turn off the ability to unmute your mic until the speaker is finished. We also only allow chat to the host. If their internet drops during the meeting and the Zoom call ends prematurely, we will start the Zoom again for you to rejoin. If you have questions, please use the Zoom chat feature. If you are here at the club, Sorry. If you're here at the club, we only have 2 parking spots in the front, and they are labeled for the 4th D. If you're parked in one of the other spots, please move your vehicle now, as it will get towed. Also, please do not smoke directly in front of the building. We have a designated smoking area on the edge of the parking lot towards the sidewalk next to the bike racks. This is the hybrid open Sunday morning speaker meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. Please pause for a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, and does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. If you're here at the club, we will pass a basket for the 7th tradition. On Zoom, we will put a link into the chat to the group's Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal accounts for the 7th tradition. If you're here at the club and have a paper to be signed, please bring it to one of us after the meeting. If you're on Zoom and need to let your PO know you attended, please send us a note in the Zoom chat and we can email you. And I have asked Red to read chapter 3, More About Alcoholism, from the Big Book.
You gotta go up there? Okay. I'm not gonna get it, but. Name's Red, I'm alcoholic. Okay. Chapter 3, More About Alcoholism. Most of us has been unwilling to admit we're real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday he will control his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we're like other people or presently may be has to be smashed. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control. All of us felt at times we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. We are like men who have lost their legs. They never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics of our kind like other men. We have tried every imaginable remedy. In some instances, there has been brief recovery, followed always by a still worse relapse. Physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree there is no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exception to the rule, therefore non-alcoholic. If anyone who is showing an ability to control his drinking can do the right about face and drink like a gentleman, our hats are off to him. Heaven knows we have tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. Here are some of the methods we have tried. Drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, never drinking in the morning, drinking only at home, never having it in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines. Wow. Agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, take a trip, not taking a trip, swearing off forever with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums, accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We could increase the list and add infinitum.
Sweet guys.
All right, and I've asked Raymond to read the 12 traditions.
Raymond, I'm an alcoholic. These are the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God, as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. 3, the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6, an AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need to always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. And 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
Thanks, Riley. Thanks.
All right. Does anyone have a sobriety birthday today or during the past week?
Tanner alcoholic.
Tanner.
And 6 months today.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Alcoholic.
Hey, Brian.
It's been a pleasure sponsoring Tanner for what, 5.5 months probably.
Mhm.
I think he sat in AA for a couple weeks without one, which is fine because that's what we do. We're new in AA. We're feeling it out, trying to figure out this game of life and trying to figure out how to not drink without, going to bed without it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, though, watching Tanner over these last 6 months, he has like exceeded the things that I've asked him. He's ripped through these steps. He's done a 4th and 5th. He's worked through the 8th and 9th, and he's working 10, 11, and 12. And it shows because he's still sober and he's getting hit with life right now, really hard. But he keeps coming back to Alcoholics Anonymous. He keeps reaching out to us, and that is the other solution. Alcohol was a solution. Now it's living life on life's terms with AA, a sponsor, guys that in the group, and just showing up to meetings and having a relationship with higher power. So I'm grateful having you in my life, man. Good job.
Yes.
Well, alcoholic 24 years.
Wow. Quite. Do you need one or do you have?
He's gone.
Oh, okay.
I'll pass him on.
Oh, yay. Okay. Yeah. You want to say something? Absolutely.
Philip Alcoholic. I wanted to celebrate my birthday in Orange County. I'm from Newport Beach, but my uncle passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I had I'm an over-the-road trucker, so I said, hey, get me to Montana. I got to cancel my home time, and so that's why I'm here. I'm gonna be back over the road. My son flew into Missoula, I have a 15-year-old son. He goes to Newport Harbor, and he's never seen his dad drunk. And my dad had a keg in the garage, and turned out that he had more control over his drink than I did. But grateful to be sober, grateful to be think the reason I still drive truck today is because of my sobriety. But I had a second step experience. I'll share it real quick. We're in the sleeper cab of our truck a lot. I was by myself, April 2002. And I was reading a magazine at the pro interview. And I was reading, I go, oh, this guy's younger than me. I'll show him how old we are before I stop skateboarding. And been skating Stevensville, Wise here, with my son. And then my uncle just passed away. He'd been gone for 3 days. And my dad told me that morning. And I started thinking about my uncle. He's in that place. He knows that place right now. He's in heaven right now. And right when I thought that, my uncle said, Philip, that's one of the brothers. And I looked down at the picture of this pro interview and I go, wait, you think this is your childhood friend? Your uncle just died. You can't talk about this. You can't remember them. And I thought the only chance of me remembering these two brothers in my life was to stick a sobriety date of July 5th, 2002. And for that, I'm entirely grateful to God. And because of that moment, today, I have a relationship with brothers. Mickey called me Truck Phil. Sab called me, Mickey, you need to shut Truck and Phil down. What's that all about? And you know what? I'll just keep coming back. Maybe I'll figure that one out too.
All right, anybody else? Right. Hey, Frank. Awesome. All right. Are there any AA members from outside the Missoula area with us today? If so, please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. Are there any oh, oh yeah, that's right. Welcome. Are there any non-AA visitors with us this morning? If so, please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. Is there anyone here with a suspected alcohol problem attending his or her very first AA meeting? If so, would you please introduce yourself by your first name only? Colin, welcome. Do you have 24 hours? Do you have a coin? On behalf of the speakers, really glad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Frank, I apologize. I kind of skipped over. Would you like to share how you got 50 years? No, okay. Okay. All right. Well, now I will call on Stanley to introduce today's speaker.
Stanley Alcoholic. Morning, everybody. I am honored to introduce today's speaker, James. I've gotten to know James a little bit over the years, just to being involved with my home group, MyPa, here in town, and it's been really cool hearing him share his experience in this program, and being so open to sharing his experience. Even I don't know. I think the more I get into this thing, I'm realizing really all I have is my experience. And the more I stay in this program and the deeper I go, I think the more it's odd. Like, I remember when we started that group, we had a certain way we were thinking it should go, and it wasn't very principled looking back. And I am thankful that I'm able to look back on that experience now and realize where I was off base, and also realize where James was able to offer his experience and not really force it on any of us. And looking back, I think that's working a program. Because it's giving of oneself without expecting anything. Because I know for me, if I'm offering my opinion, I want that to be the truth. And that's just one aspect of James that I've kind of noticed where he gives his experience and kind of lets go. And that's inspiring to me. Because I can't do that. And and getting to know his story, I've also found it very valuable hearing somebody who got sober young in the program, and more importantly, stuck around and is still sober after 9 years. And that's really important for me to see. And so I thank you for your sobriety, James, and for your experience, and looking forward to hear you talk.
Thanks, Stanley. Thanks, Stanley.
Well, I was told that I'm James, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, James.
I was told that I can either just go like the whole hour or break in, just take a little bit of time. So I don't know. We'll see where this whole thing goes. Um, yeah, thanks, Stanley. I really appreciate that. What you said tonight. It means a lot. I yeah, yeah, so I guess let me just start by saying I got sober June 29th, 2017. And that arguably wasn't a choice of my own, though obviously it was a choice of my own. I was I got 2 DUIs, possession charge of cocaine, and was facing prison time. And you know, I made Pruno in jail, used in treatment, used on the way to treatment, and did not want to stop running and gunning. I didn't want to stop what I was doing. I thought that I had it. I thought that I had made it. I was this like weed grown drug dealer, and I was this entrepreneur, and thought that like that was the bee's knees, you know. And yeah, and congrats on 6 months for sure, dude. That was like a pivotal time in my sobriety. I remember when I got that coin at a birthday meeting. And I just had this like semi-spiritual experience of like where I was, like jail, treatment, not wanting to get sober, not wanting to do this, and but then being willing to give this a shot, like getting out of treatment in jail, going to a meeting, having that become one of my home groups, getting a sponsor, working the steps, going to regular meetings regularly. And that like, and then this like shift happened, this like mental shift started happening because I was putting in the work, I was doing what was suggested, getting a service position, working the steps. And life was getting better. I still like wasn't working a perfect program. I can argue that anybody works like a perfect program. I definitely was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. Like I was still like trimming weed for people, and like I quit smoking weed like a year before I got sober because I didn't like how it affected me, but it was an easy way to make money. And because I was facing prison time, I had this thought in my mind that I couldn't freaking get a job. And so I did work for friends. I knew a bunch of people that were not, I had a handful of friends. I mean, arguably friends, because we're still friends to this day, even though that we aren't doing the things that we used to do. But yeah, it I guess I say all that just to say that you know, you can still get time in the program, and you can still be I was able to like I've obviously been able to accumulate time, get away from drinking and drugs and that old lifestyle, while still like have this slow drip like away from it, and I mean, yes, I definitely wish that I had done things differently, but I mean, also it's just where I was at that point in time in my life. Um, I when I was 9 months sober, I started a meeting. I it was a different 12-step program that is not around here, has to focus more on drugs while being inclusive with Alcoholics Anonymous. And we work the AA steps, and we use the first 164 pages out of the big book, but we have our own storybook. And because at that point in time in my sobriety, I felt like I needed this more like inclusive, less exclusive is the way that I felt program. And it just like blew up. And I had a bunch of learning lessons in that when I first started that meeting. And that's like what Stanley had touched on about how when my pot had gotten started up, I was at one of the steerage meetings, and yeah, like I would put my input into this meeting, but I was like more like hands off. I was just like, hey, here's my experience, do with it as you will. Like I didn't like vote on anything. I was just like, here, like you guys are starting this. I'm just like giving some experience here on this. And I that that being able to do that comes with experience, right? Because that is not the way when I was like in earlier in my first couple of years how I did stuff. So I got sober in Olympia, Washington. I got about a year sober, freaking as soon as I surrendered, everything cleared up. Like it was crazy. Like I was supposed to get this felony and this DUI, and we were trying to get this plea deal and it wasn't going. And then it was like after a year into it, like a different prosecutor got temporarily put on the case, and he was like, yeah, I'll drop the possession if you freaking plead to the DUI. I'm like, let's go now. And because I was like literally about to plead to the felony, like that's what we were going there for. And this other prosecutor got put on the case, and it was like right after I had practiced surrender and being like, all right, fine, I'm just going to move forward with this. It's like I'll take 5 years, get the felony taken off, and move forward with my life, like let's just get the balls rolling on this thing. And everything cleared up, and I was able to get out of, like I was able to do that, and then I'd already cleaned up everything legally. um and so I was, because I'd already done all of my treatment, regular meetings regularly, like fully involved. Like, I had that's something that like really helped me too, was it is I learned in early sobriety that we don't have to do anything alone ever again if we don't want to. Um, because sometimes I want to do shit alone. But even though it's not like in my best interest. Um, and that's been something that I've been doing lately as well. I mean, I had a team of people from AA showing up to every single court hearing and probationary hearing. I had like 2 to 5 or 6 people, like guys showing up with their sponsees, whatever it was, and just this like support network just like grew up around me. But that's because I was involved. I went to all these meetings. Yeah, I started this meeting. I was chairing meetings, service positions, started sponsoring people at like 10 months, 11 months. Because that's like when I completed my steps. And man, yeah, so then I moved to Lake Tahoe when I had about like 16 months of sobriety. And I moved there with nothing more than what I could carry. I took like an Amtrak train and bus to Tahoe, where I had 2 checked bags that I was rolling down the sidewalk in a backpack and a carry-on. And all I knew was that there was one side of a duplex that my friend had as a winter house for snowboarding up there. And he was like, hey, dude, like you need to get out of Olympia, just because we feel that more options will open up just to get out of like this place that I've been running and gunning. Like I still have a ton of friends out there. Like I needed to grow. And I felt like for me to grow, I needed to get out of Olympia. And that's been like nothing. And that's all that's like really happened. And they do AA different everywhere you go. And that's where I've learned to kind of just let go on these things and this controlling of it's like y'all are doing it wrong, and like and that's like a really, really tough lesson, right? I mean, I've seen people from, counting months, years, or decades when they move and they go back out, just because they don't get involved, or because they do things different. Like, don't you guys know, like, like my sponsor had to sidebar me in Tahoe and be like, we don't care how it was done in Washington. Like we do things different here, and so just being able to do that was like, that was a learning lesson on its own. And that in turn has helped me with guide my mind with my paw, Missoula Young People in AA. And I yeah, I don't know. There's been like so many just like different learning lessons through my life today. And I just started working with a new sponsor here. Um, so I moved. I was in Washington for a year. I lived in Tahoe for 3 years, and then moved out here, and I've been here like 4.5 years. And got involved right away as well. Um, yeah, and there's just been a whole nother mess of learning lessons that have happened, especially in this past like year. I mean, hell, even 6 months, dude, it's just been super rough. But that's also part of the reason why I have a new sponsor today. Um, and that's the reason why I say that I have a sponsor who knows he's my sponsor and he has a sponsor, because I've had sponsors that don't have sponsors, and I've been at points in my recovery when I don't have a sponsor technically, I always have what I call my advisory board, where it's like there's a bunch of people that have that I know that I can call, whether it's in, across the United States, that have these different experiences. It's like like what I was going through this custody stuff recently, and still am, of my 3-year-old son. I called my old sponsor, and because he had been through that stuff, and he helped walk me through some mental stuff, and dude, there's a power greater than myself today, and it's the Missoula District Court. And and then just like how I had to practice surrender over that felony, the possible felony charge. And I am extremely grateful today to say that I do not have a felony. I have sidestepped a couple of them. And through the diversion and the grace of God, and I yeah. So, and it's funny because I'm actually meeting up with my sponsor right after this, and I've had the opportunity, kind of like the first time in a while, to sit and kind of observe people and see who's talking the talk, who's walking the walk, who has like a lineage of guys that are doing the deal, that are, this like next caliber of recovery, that I'm like searching for. And that's kind of who I who I've honed in on is I've seen this guy for a while, family guy, ex-military, so he has this like, you know, this attitude about him that I need um and he's got 3 more days of sobriety than me. But he's just this like next caliber. I mean, like once you start getting up there in these years, you know, like that's kind of where it falls. Like my sponsor, my old sponsor in Tahoe, his sponsor has like 10 years less than him. But I mean, he also got sober the same year I was born. So I mean, you know, and we're both named James. So that was always a fun thing. And yeah, you know, so I've had to learn this sort like re-practice and relearn this surrender aspect, um, superpower, whatever you want to call it, like, because I mean, dude, like being able just to surrender over like whatever it is like kind of a freaking superpower. And that's like one of my buddies is like really, really good at that. Like it's crazy. Like he's just this, and he's got like 2 years less than me or whatever. And he's just this like guru on just like water off of a duck's back over like anything sideways that comes his way. He's like, well, that's just how it is, you know. And I mean, he doesn't fold like a cheap suit by any means, but like he you know, but he understands like that there's a plan out there. It usually ain't mine, and that it's all gonna be okay, you know. My son has a higher power that ain't me. I have a higher power and it ain't me. And you know, that has our best interests at heart. And that is having the power of faith. And having the power of faith is like one of the strongest powers we can have. And that's kind of like a step 2, step 3 thing. I was taught they're kind of intertwined. Like the more you turn yeah, the more you come to believe, the more you turn things over, the more you yeah, the more you turn things over, the more you come to believe, the more you come to believe, the more you turn things over. And so it's kind of like this like intertwined thing that kind of like rolls on. And yeah, dude, like I had a lot of sleepless nights, emotional days, and you know, probably high emotions because I wasn't sleeping. Oh, like being worried over the safety and well-being of my son. And you know, I kind of just had to surrender that I do not have control. I tried everything that I could. And yeah, dude, that is one hard learning lesson. But, you know, it's super helpful because like, dude, like my emotions will just like run riot, will just run rampant, you know, and just like take control and completely distract me from like my regular day-to-day basis. And it's not good, you know, for for me, you know, for people around me. Like I'm, you know, getting upset with my mom or someone I'm talking to, and like they're just trying to like help me out, and I'm just like spiraling, you know, spinning out on stuff that's outside of my control. And you know, and that's why like surrender is just like so key. Like I had something happen just freaking not even like an hour ago. Like I was working on my car, um and then when I was working on it, like freaking bumped something on it, and now it's making like a rattling noise, and I'm like, right. Like I was trying to like remove noise, and now I'm making more noise, and it's just like I found out what it is, and I'm like, well, I don't have time to mess with this like right now. It's whatever. I freaking figured out what it was. I have a plan on how to freaking fix it, and I got this meeting I gotta go to, you know, and got another car I can drive, you know. Like that's the other thing, right? Is like I showed up in Lake Tahoe with nothing but what was on my back and a key under the mat for this house, you know. and hopefully there was a bed and like some silverware in it, you know, and I went to the food bank and got like some food. They were able to give me some food and freaking paid $5 to take a bus down the road to go to a meeting and and then got a ride back to my house from someone and got some more phone numbers and it's like that very first day. It's just like right when I got out of jail and treatment, the first day, like before I did anything, went to a meeting, before I put my head on that pillow specifically. And it's that same thing when I got to Tahoe. It's that same thing when I got here, And I think that it's like really crucial to like for me to reintegrate myself into a new AA community when I've relocated in sobriety is do that 90 and 90 again. You need to try and go and search out different meetings, new meetings. One of my favorite things, even in the beginning of my sobriety, is that 24-hour hotline number, the local number, because you're gonna get someone like me who's gonna pick up that phone, whether it's a newcomer or it's someone who has like 20 years or whatever. And I'm just like, hey, is the schedule up to date? Like, is this meeting? This is what I'm looking to go to. Is it actually where it is? Because I've gone to churches where a meeting's supposed to be, and it ain't there anymore, and that's frustrating, especially because like maybe I needed a meeting or whatever it was, like maybe I got dropped off, and now I'm just like, oh well, what the hell do I do now, But yeah, so or being like, what's your favorite meeting? Like, is this one that you would suggest, or should I go to this other one? And that's really helpful. And also, like, that's super awesome when you get someone who picks up, like, who's calling the 24-hour hotline, and it's just like, someone with some time, and they're not just like 12-step calling, and they're, and then you can meet up with them at a freaking meeting. Like, I did that. So, like, I was born in Manhattan, Kansas, and last 4th of July, I went back there for 4th of July. And for the first time since I was 3 years old, and I went there with my son because I was adopted at birth. And my adopted family moved to Washington when I was 3. And so I hadn't been back to Manhattan, Kansas in a long time. And so I got to meet like some of my relatives. And that was a fun time, but I got to I got to call that 24-hour hotline. I got to talk to someone on the phone, and he was like, "Man, dude, like what like where are you from? Where's the 406 number?" I'm like, "It's Montana." And he's like, "Oh, dude, I was out there not that long ago. Like where at?" I was like, I'm in I'm I'm living in Missoula right now." And he's like, "No way. Like which freaking is like there was this meeting that was in like this basement somewhere. Like do you know?" And they have this map on the wall, and it's crazy because when I freaking first came out here, I saw the map on the wall, and I remember seeing a pin on Manhattan, Kansas, and I was like, "No freaking way, dude." Sure enough, dude, this is the guy that put the pin on that map, Uh, and that's just like it's just like God doing for me what I can't do for myself. So like for me, my higher power shows itself in synchronicities, like when things just kind of like sync up, like just like that, dude. It's just like, what the hell are the freaking chances? Like, not only do I call a 24-hour hotline, but it's like the dude that's been, it's just crazy. And yeah, I'm really, really grateful to be sober today. Like, I have gone through like an emotional, mental, psychic change at least twice in sobriety. Like I'm not the James that got sober. I'm not the James that moved to Tahoe either, And I'm not the James that moved to Missoula. I've been growing, And I mean obviously there's like I'm still me or whatever, but like I've gone through these. I mean, I've gotten older, I got sober when I was 26 years old, still freaking a kid. And now I'm freaking 35. Where the hell did freaking 9 years go? That's the freaking crazy part, dude. Is you I've heard it in here for years, is like, don't drink and don't die, and they just start clicking away, and that's so true. Like, I had like 4.5 years when I freaking moved here, and I lived in Tahoe for 3 years, and it's just like, where did it go? I've become a father. I got married in sobriety. Became a father, got divorced in sobriety, and like, was a full-time father for freaking, for like 18 months of my child's life, and been navigating that like a true full-time father, not like one of these people that has like, yeah, dude, because I don't have it. We don't have nobody. We don't have no family out here except for AA. Like that's the only family we have out here, which so it's been like really tough, especially when I was like arguably just like doing it all on my own. But I get like that was my own fears and insecurities over my son's mother being able to parent properly, in my view. And I still have a really hard time with that. Um, that's still like a whole nother learning lesson, and that's still something that like, you know, it's freaking tough. Man, dude, I had no idea. I mean, and becoming a father is the greatest that is the greatest gift I never knew I needed. Um, I never wanted to be a father until I became a father, and now, dude, like I just like I want more kids, honestly. Like there was like in a like they say that a man's brain goes through a chemical change after he becomes a father, and that is 100% true. Um, I know that people say it all the time, and you can say it till the freaking cows come home, but until you actually like live it, you'd have no idea. And I can't talk highly enough about being a father. Um, yeah, it's I love my son like so much. It's freaking, and that's why it's been so tough, and that's why it's been like a really good, strong learning lesson in surrender and acceptance and having faith in a higher power, um, and trusting the process, and knowing that and believing that like wherever this is headed, it's in the best interest of like all parties, no matter how hard it can be. But yeah, and I can say through like the mess of all of this, I can't say that I never thought about picking up a drink, but it never lasted long. It wasn't something that just like stuck around, and I was like really contemplating drinking ever throughout this whole emotional process through the divorce and now the custody battle. Um and But I had a huge network of people that I was always leaning on, and I was talking with and through this whole process, I've gotten closer with my biological mom. Like I was talking with her on the phone for probably the past like hour and a half or so. Um, and and she's sober in AA, so it's a genetic there's a genetic history of getting drunk, doing drugs, and getting sober in AA, like it's crazy, like, you know, like I've even liked the same tequila that my dad likes, and my uncle and my dad used to sell a bunch of drugs, and it's just this like genetic disposition to frickin' to be a drug dealer and frickin' drink tequila. Um, and um, and it's just like it's just crazy, and then to get sober in AA. But I don't know. I mean, there's like 15 minutes left. Do we like usually have close it down and freaking have, or you just want me to like keep on rolling?
You get here from Frank too.
Right? Yeah. I don't think Frank wants to. He's like, oh. Yeah, I mean, do you guys want to open it up or do you want me to keep on talking? Okay.
You're more than welcome to end it now.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If you feel like that's, yeah, no biggie.
I mean, I can keep on rolling. It's fine. I just didn't want to hijack the meeting if it was you know, for how you guys normally do stuff around here. This is my first time coming to this meeting. It's not my first time in this room. I was a GSR when for the Bonner group at one point. And then you know, life happened, married, kid, and had to kind of just like step away. And dude, service was like a huge part of early sobriety for me. Dude, I was like so gung-ho on service. Like I can't speak enough about service. I mean, hence, dude, like I freaking started a meeting all on my own. You know, and it was full on rolling with just me. There was no steerage meeting. There was no, it was just like James is gonna do whatever James wants, you know. I mean, hell, dude, I had 9 months of sobriety, dude. My head was so still like whacked off, and I went to a church. I mean, I was driving on like a suspended license and shit. Like driving other people's cars, you know. Like I had friends with like nice ass cars, like Audis and BMWs, and just like smashing around town in them. And they had blow and goes in them, which was the best part because I could freaking blow and go in those and freaking, you know. But yeah, like I said, I didn't have I wasn't working like a good program. But yeah, like early in sobriety, like I went to the church and like started this freaking meeting all on my own and was full on running the whole thing. It was like James's show for like a while. And then after like about like a month or so, I was like, hey, who wants to be home group members? Like who want I start delegating positions, and then it wasn't my show anymore, you know, and yeah, like there was a it technically wasn't a young person's meeting, but it was the young person's meeting in the sense that we had these call outs and ad libs and stuff. Um and if y'all don't know anything about that, I highly recommend you guys come to my paw. We are going to be changing some stuff around via group conscience, obviously. But we just like it's all about having fun, and we open up the meeting and we uh have everything and then some to say about the traditions and how it works. Like we just interject up the wazoo, and it's all about having fun, you know. But then, and this is how it's been whenever I go to any of these YPA groups or meetings, events, is like, dude, we're just like rowdy as hell in the beginning, and then it's like down to business, super serious, like when it comes to the meeting. And yeah, dude, like I got like my first service positions there, and you know, like Washington does like some crazy stuff with YPA. Like they have like they do like rap battles and raves and stuff out there, and it's just this like next level. Um and in early sobriety, you know, when I was 26, 27, coming out of like the club scene, the rave scene, freaking partying hard for multiple days in a row, like I needed something that was like, you know, gonna kind of fill that void a little bit. And YPAW was definitely there for that. Um, and it's not limited just to young people either. Like that's like the beauty of it. Like, you know, when it started, it was 40 and under, you know, back in like the 60s and 70s. That was like young people in AA, and now it's like 30 and under, but it's not delegated to that by any means. Like it's always young at heart. And you know, I know members that have like, you know, 30, 40, 50 years that are in YPAW. And that's definitely a meeting like I really want to see more traction at that meeting. And I'm still the treasurer of the MyPaw committee, even though we're not meeting. Like kind of like it kind of like fell apart like a little bit, but I still have the monies. And if anybody wants to get involved in that, I mean, like I think that once we do some changes at the MyPaw meeting, that it's going to gain some more traction and some more people are going to come over. And yeah, we really couldn't use some support, and I'd love to get the committee rolling again. Because that, I mean, there's endless service positions to fill in the committee. Like there's all sorts of stuff that the community needs. Like it's really oftentimes in bigger cities I've seen where there's like a YPAW bridging the gap person, so that when someone's coming out of juvie or jail that's young, they have a young person that they can talk to and shoo them into meetings. Like hosting meetings at juvenile detention centers. Like I did that for a while in Lake Tahoe, going to like youth inpatient facilities or just treatment facilities where there's like younger people. And it's really crucial in my opinion to have that like committee and that network of YPAW to branch out in the community and show that we're still having fun, like we'll still go and dance, we'll still like do all the stuff that you're doing, and we'll teach you how to do it sober, and you can go with a group of people that's safe and enjoy and have a good time. And I and that's been it's brought me a lot of joy over the years to be involved in YPAW. And I was on we called it Titty Paw at Truckee Incline Tahoe Young People in AA. And yeah, everybody in YPAW just tends to freaking love it. It's freaking crazy. So I've been on like different committees and been a part of steerage groups in YPAW. And dude, like it is the fire and the energy that is in YPAW is like so amazing. It's like these kids are just on fire, and it's so awesome. Like I'd love to get a group of people and like either stuff a car or a couple cars and go to the next Wacky Paw or whatever closest YPaw event. And because that's what happened about a year or so ago, is there was a group or two that went, and it was right after we started MyPaw, and like they came back and they were like on fire, dude. They were like all about service. They were like, "Oh my God, James, I totally get like what the hell you were trying to do now." Like, because I know all of these freaking ad libs, and they're like, "What is this guy doing, dude? Like, like what the hell is this, And why does he keep on interrupting?" And it's like, no, dude, this is just how we freaking do it. And it's really beautiful to watch like how the group evolves and grows with those. But I don't know, there's like 5 minutes left. So yeah, thanks y'all.
All right, thank you so much. All right, before closing, let us remember that anonymity is the spiritual